You know that feeling, right? When you're driving, maybe pressing the gas or hitting the brakes, and you just sense something else at play, an unseen force. Or maybe you're just cruising along, say, on the highway, and you feel like the car's working harder than it seems it should be. Well, you're definitely not imagining it. There are these powerful, invisible forces constantly affecting your vehicle's every move. Today, we're going deep on resistance. Those hidden forces always working to slow our vehicles down. And our mission, for you listening, is to really pull back the curtain on these forces. We want you to understand how they shape, well, pretty much everything. From acceleration, stopping distance,
Hmm.
to fuel efficiency, even how things play out in a crash. And knowing this stuff gives you a real advantage for safer, more efficient driving.
It really does. And it's fascinating because, this isn't just some abstract physics lesson. It's about getting practical insight into how your vehicle actually responds out there in the real world.
Mm.
Whether you're climbing a steep hill, maybe managing a fast descent, or just, driving through town, this knowledge genuinely empowers you to anticipate what your car's going to do and make better decisions because of it.
Okay, let's unpack that then. So when we talk about resistance in a vehicle,
Mm.
what exactly are we describing? These powerful, unseen forces slowing things down.
Right.
We think of wind, maybe tires on the road, but you're saying it's more complex.
Absolutely. At its core, mechanical resistance is really any force that opposes or retards motion. It's a super important concept because it hits so many aspects of driving, how much fuel you burn, how much control you have, and yeah, ultimately how safe you are.
Okay, so applying that to cars,
Mm.
what are some of these forces that are constantly working against us? Beyond the obvious ones, like, say, the wind, what are the hidden stuff,
Yeah.
the internal resistances?
That's a great point because people often overlook what's happening inside the vehicle itself. For instance, you've got inertia. That's your car's basic resistance to any change in its state of motion. It resists starting from a stop and it resists stopping once it's moving. Simple but fundamental.
Okay, inertia. Makes sense.
Then there's rolling resistance. This is the friction generated just by your tires deforming and rolling against the road. It's a constant energy drain, different from the friction you need for grip.
Ah, so it's not just about grip, it's about the tire physically rolling.
Exactly. And don't forget internal friction. Think about the engine, the transmission, the whole drivetrain. Countless moving parts rubbing against each other. A chunk of the engine's power never even reaches the wheels. It's lost just overcoming the vehicle's own internal drag, basically.
Wow. That's eye-opening. We picture engine power going straight to the wheels, but a fair bit is just fighting the car itself. Okay, so let's break down the big external types then and what affects them. Starting with the one we've all felt, air resistance, drag.
Right, air resistance or aerodynamic drag. It's the force opposing your vehicle as it, well, cuts through the air. And the really critical thing here is how it relates to speed. It's not just linear. Air resistance actually goes up with the square of the speed.
The square.
Yeah.
So faster means much, much more resistance.
Exactly. Double your speed, say from 30 to 60 miles per hour, and you're facing 4 times the air resistance, not double. That's huge.
Oh,
That's why highway speeds just kill your fuel efficiency compared to slower speeds. And of course, the vehicle's size and, crucially, its shape, how aerodynamic it is, make a massive difference too.
yeah, that explains why my friend's big, boxy SUV feels like it's hitting a wall at 70 compared to, say, a sleek sedan. Okay, so beyond the air, there's the ground itself,
Yeah.
friction. That's the tires and the road interacting, right?
Correct. And while traction, the grip part, is obviously essential for moving and stopping, there's also that rolling resistance aspect we touched on. That's the energy lost as the tire squishes and recovers under the car's weight. The type of tire, its condition, think tire pressure, that's a big one, and even the road surface texture all play a role here.
So underinflated tires, they deform more.
Precisely. They deform more, which increases that rolling resistance, and boom, you're using more fuel.
That makes sense. A really practical link between just checking your tires and saving gas. Which brings us nicely to another obvious factor, the slow to the road, hills.
Yep. Basic physics. Going uphill, your car has to fight gravity directly. That adds significantly to the total resistance it needs to overcome.
And down.
Downhill can reduce the net resistance. Sometimes gravity even helps you coast a bit, but you still have to manage your speed, manage that momentum, especially on steep grades. Gravity giveth and gravity taketh away.
Ah, indeed. And speaking of gravity, let's talk weight. Vehicle weight itself. It just seems logical, right? A heavier car needs more push to get going, keep going.
Absolutely logical. Heavier vehicles require more force, period. So they inherently experience more resistance overall compared to lighter ones. But it's not just about getting up to speed.
What else?
Well, a heavier vehicle carries more kinetic energy when it's moving, more energy stored in its motion,
Okay.
which means it needs much more braking force and it travels a longer distance before it can stop. That increased kinetic energy combined with the vehicle's inherent resistances also means, well, in a crash, there's just more energy that needs to be dissipated.
Ah, that's a really crucial safety point there. More weight means harder to stop and potentially a bigger impact. So let's connect all these dots for the driver. How do these forces really influence a car's performance day to day and crucially, our safety?
Well, like we just said, they directly impact your stopping distance. Hugely important. And they significantly affect your fuel consumption, which hits your wallet. But here's maybe the most profound safety takeaway. When you collide with something, your car's structure, its crumple zones, are designed to absorb energy. They do that by deforming against the resistance of whatever you hit. Now think about hitting something really rigid, something
Hmm.
with high resistance, like a concrete wall,
Yeah.
versus hitting, say, another modern car that's also designed to crumple. The more resistant the object, the less your car can absorb the impact energy itself. And where does that unabsorbed energy go?
Into the car, into the occupants.
Exactly. It gets transferred more directly to you. That's why understanding the resistance of roadside objects and why modern cars and barriers are designed for energy absorption is so critical for occupant safety. It's not just about the car surviving, it's about you surviving.
Wow. That really puts it into perspective.
Yeah.
It's not just about the car fighting the wind, it's about how it interacts with everything, even in the worst case scenario. But knowing this gives us power,
Right?
an advantage.
So let's pivot. What can we as drivers actually do to reduce some of this resistance, to improve performance, save fuel, maybe even enhance safety margins?
Definitely. And the first, most fundamental thing is just good old vehicle maintenance, keeping things in shape. Like what specifically?
Well, a properly tuned engine runs more efficiently. Correctly inflated tires, as we mentioned, massively reduce rolling resistance, making sure your wheels are aligned correctly, ensuring the transmission is operating smoothly. All these things directly cut down on internal friction and rolling resistance. It means more of your engine's power actually goes into moving the car forward, not just fighting itself.
That makes total sense. It's like basic health for your car means less wasted effort. What about how we actually drive? Our habits.
Driving habits are huge. Adopting fuel-efficient techniques is key. Things like maintaining a steady speed whenever possible, avoiding really sudden, aggressive acceleration, looking ahead, anticipating traffic flow so you can minimize hard braking. Smoothness is the goal.
Because every time you stomp on the gas,
You're not just burning more fuel unnecessarily, you're also dramatically increasing the air and rolling resistance the engine has to fight against. Smooth inputs equal less wasted energy. Simple as that.
okay, smooth driving, good maintenance. What about that air resistance again? Anything easy we can do there? I'm thinking. Like seeing cars with empty roof racks all the time.
Exactly. That's a perfect example. Keeping windows closed at higher speeds makes a difference. An open window creates drag. And absolutely, removing external carriers, roof racks, cargo boxes, bike racks when you're not actually using them can significantly cut down on drag.
Really.
Yeah.
Even just the rack itself.
Oh, yeah. They might seem sleek, but they disrupt the airflow quite a bit. It has a surprising amount of constant resistance, almost like driving with a small parachute deployed.
Huh. Good to know. Okay, so pulling this all together, what's the big so what for you, the listener? When you get back in your car after hearing this, how does this deep dive actually change things?
Well, it means you're not just, pushing pedals and turning a wheel anymore. You're consciously engaging with the physics of motion around you. Understanding resistance helps you anticipate. Anticipate how your vehicle is going to respond in all sorts of situations. Whether you're entering a curve, braking hard, trying to merge smoothly, or just wanting to squeeze a few more miles out of your tank. This knowledge, it really does give you a clear advantage, both for just normal, everyday driving and, crucially, in those unexpected emergency moments. It helps you operate your vehicle more safely and more efficiently.
It really is about turning what sounds like complex physics into real practical power and awareness when you're behind the wheel. We really hope this deep dive into these invisible forces of resistance has maybe shifted your perspective a bit and helps make you a more informed, safer driver.
And maybe something to think about next time you're driving. How does recognizing these constant forces acting on your car change how you perceive the simple act of driving? Does it raise new questions for you about maybe optimizing your current car or even what you might look for in your next one?
Great thought. Definitely something to mull over. Join us next time as we take another deep dive into the knowledge that helps you navigate your world.
Please like, subscribe, and get notified.